Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since my first week in Congress, I've been calling for federal action to dismantle the transgender industrial complex. One essential step is defunding sex trade altering treatments on minors. During the Constitution Subcommittee's hearing on Congressman Green's bill, I spoke about the costly sex-altering treatments that are being paid for in some states by the Medicaid program. I led a letter to CMS trying to quantify how much U.S. taxpayers were spending on this grisly activity, but pinning down that number is difficult because of the rampant fraud and abuse in billing and coding for these procedures. For instance, these transgender clinics billing for precocious puberty or hypogonadism, when really they are using those drugs for gender transition. It is essential that we preserve the language in the House passed one big beautiful bill that defunds mutilating and sterilizing sex trade altering treatments in Medicaid. Our Senate colleagues must preserve that language. As medical doctors, we take an oath to do no harm. There is absolutely nothing evidence-based about chemical castration or genital mutilation of children. The Dutch protocol and the WPATH guidelines are garbage. 3 systematic reviews in the UK, the US, and Sweden have refuted and shown the utter scientific nonsense embodied in the Dutch protocol, basically the protocol that's being cited by my Democrat colleagues today. The reconciliation bill reflects the thrust of one of the first bills I introduced when I came into Congress, H.R. 2387, the No Harm Act, along with which contains the defunding of transgender mutilation, as well as conscience protections and a private right of action for those harmed by this grisly industry. Over the past few years, so-called doctors working in pediatric transgender clinics have prescribed medicines or done procedures they know will permanently sterilize children and leave them with irreversible psychological and physical damage. This is done in service of their poisonous gender ideology. They also exploit vulnerable children and young adults, often those suffering from anxiety, depression, autism spectrum disorder, or are victims of domestic violence. They promise these poor young people that their problems will go away and they will be happy if only they embrace gender ideology and undergo gender transition. These so-called doctors do this in service of their sick ideology, and as one of them put it, because the procedures are big money makers. The No Harm Act codifies President Trump's Day One executive order and protects taxpayers from being forced to subsidize the abuse of the vulnerable. Another federal solution, of course, is before us today. This is to hold the quack doctors accountable for performing these horrific treatments on minors. Congressman Green's bill does so by instituting criminal penalties on anyone who performs sex trade altering treatments on minors. This so-called gender-affirming care is clearly child abuse. In 2021, 4,000 Americans aged 6 to 17 began cross-sex hormone treatment for gender dysphoria. Most of those 4,000 children didn't even know at the time they were signing up for a lifetime of fertility issues and other serious health problems. If a child takes puberty blockers before beginning hormone therapy, they will not develop gonadal tissue or gametes, resulting in permanent loss of reproductive capacity. We do not even let children get their ears pierced without better informed consent than this. There is also a long list of side effects in addition to infertility. I'm proud to support the Protect Children's Innocence Act of 2025, and I yield back.